What up? Disregard that. I'm just holding something from my pops while he's moving from one spot to the other. But nappy headed today, nappy head assassin right now. But check me. Man, I was sitting here pondering a whole bunch of thoughts, and I said, man, I gotta hit them with something before we get to the so-called days where they're gonna be with their families. And I wanted to just speak, and not one iota, modicum, or scintilla. Do we need to get into the definitions of each word? I think we will. One moment. Modicum. A modicum is a small quantity of a particular thing, especially something considered desirable or valuable. So, when I say modicum, I am not speaking of something that is worthless or not desired. I'm speaking on, a modicum piece of gold, right? Right? A small quantity of it, right? A degree, a speck, a fragment, a scrap, a little bit, as they say down there. What's the other word we was talking about? Iota. Come on. The ninth letter of the Greek alphabet, translated as I. Also, number two, an extremely small amount, a bit, mite, speck, scrap, shred, ounce, scintilla, atom, jot. Now, scintilla down here, would you be surprised it's spelled the other way? But I put the centella as in the plant, the pennyworth, right? And we'll we'll scrap the word for you real quick, so that way people can understand. Copy. But I meant what I put when I put centella. Put the plant. I put the pennyworth for a reason. Understand? I wasn't looking for that word. Now we're going to pull up actual centella. Give me one moment. A Centella asiatica, commonly known as the go-to cola, Kodavan, Indian pennywort, an Asiatic pennywort. Penny. Very suspicious word, right? So I know when people used to hear me back in the past say scintilla, I use the words in between because the definition of a true scintilla or scintilla, listen,
Centella.
it's almost the same way you say the plant because it's not quintilla, it's centella. Understand? I'm not stupid, y'all. I'm not retarded or nothing. This is why they can't say nothing to me. They're not kin with me. What did I say? They're not. And what is a scintilla? A tiny trace or spark of a specified quality or feeling. Of a specified quality of feeling. A scintilla of doubt. Uh-oh. Particle. Iota. Jot. What? Atom. Speck. Bit. Trace. Ounce. Understand. Not one of those things do I. When I say that what I've ever gotten in my life or what I've ever earned in my life is literally not one. It's not one. Okay? There isn't. Not one modicum, iota, scintilla. It doesn't. I didn't want to put that because I didn't. I want people to understand. There's a plant out there called the pennywort. I did all that to say that. Not to do. I didn't do that for that. But just understand. I say whatever fuck I want to say. Okay? I know what I'm talking about. These niggas don't. I did that to say that because I know they don't. What's the difference between a penny wart, a penny, and a tiny amount of something? Is a pence not almost, I mean, outside of a half pence, is a pence not the smallest you can get? So understand, they're not giving you any of that and kind of information. They don't give you nothing true and real. Like I said, when have they told you you need to go down to the tax and license building? Right on. Wherever that is in your city to get an actual business license. That's who you have to go to. When are they going to tell you that? When are they going to tell you that you have to be bonded and insured to have a business that's legitimate, that people actually want to do business with, if you want to call yourself being a vendor of any sort of business? When are they going to tell you that there's places that you can go to rent out the tools, to lease the tools or the equipment that you need so that way you can start your business once you have the business license? Huh? When are they going to tell you that when you go to certain places and tell them that you have a business license, you can get a different deal, especially if your business deals within a specific type of sort of business where they have the product that you need? They don't have to honor that, but they just may well. Trust me, I've seen it happen dozens of times in my life. When are they going to tell people that you don't have to settle for being a tow truck driver or a freaking cross country driver? You have to settle for, and you don't have to settle for IT. You can get an actual skill with your hands. When are they going to tell people that you have to pay yourself out of your paycheck? Huh? When you get your money, see, this is the difference between me. I can call myself broke, but as a broke nigga, I'm able to support other people. It's different. I say that, I don't say that in spite of, I say that knowing that I could have more if I just live differently, but then maybe people I care about or things I care about would perish. I'm not willing to see that happen, to have perceivably more. I'm just not. Having said that, when are they going to tell people you have to pay yourself out of your own money? Never. Because they don't know that. They don't know that when you get a paycheck, a certain amount of this actually goes to your persons, to your savings. Right. You should have separate savings when you can help it. If you don't want to have a bank account, you have to save your money uh, 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 judiciously, but you also have to spend it so it comes back. You're not going to get anything if you sit on the money. I'll give you a prime example. You got $10,000 saved, but you don't have a car. You don't want to buy a car. Okay, here's the thing, player. That 10 racks could end up being ate up by a whole nother type of situation where you're like, damn, I should have bought myself a car for 3 or 4 grand. Don't be stupid. But it's stuff like that. I can't tell you how to spend your money, but I'm telling you to be wise enough to know that there's things that you need. If you're in business right now and you're clearing over 10 grand a month, like I'm talking about, you're putting in your pocket at least 10,000 a month in your pocket after you pay employees and everything else. Check this right here out. If you're not paying yourself 2 grand a month, I'm talking about just to a personal savings, you're wrong. And you're obviously not really fit to make that kind of money. See what I'm saying? I'm giving you way more than a modicum, iota, and a centilla. I'm gonna give you way more than a penny worth or a small amount of something, okay, or a trace amount, or something that's actually worth something, but I'm gonna give you the least bit I can give you. Right. This is what gold looks like, son. And I scrape off a piece of the nugget. Keep that little scrap right there. You'll remember. Fuck out of here. And it's stuff like that that people have had to contend with their entire time being in this country. Paying yourself is a part of business. Your whole paycheck is not yours. Did you know that? Right. If you're a responsible adult, you know that you have bills and utilities and other miscellaneous expenses that you've accrued as a personal lifestyle that you're responsible for. So the money that you get is not your money. So you have to pay yourself from this pool of money. And this is how you actually accrue and save dividends. Has anybody ever told them this? Nope. Not that basic. They got a chart up and all this extra shit. I'm just telling you the game straight up because I can do that. I'm smarter than that. I ain't stupid. Like I said, I'm holding something for Pops, right? Because he's going through his little situation where he don't want to pay too much money for the storage. I get it. I just didn't feel like trying to maneuver it around almost whatever time. But I just had to, you feel me? Just like with that. My father understands how to use resources, right on. I'm not gonna burn up all my money doing this when I could do this. Me, same thing. I could have put it somewhere else, but I was like, no, where it's at is fine. Yeah, it ain't changed nothing. It ain't changed nothing in my life, right on. I'm gonna still go do what I have to do to make sure that I have what I have. He's gonna do what he has to do to make sure he has what he has. Simple, right on. But it's because people don't know about basic little things like that. They would rather pay another $150, $160 to a storage fee that you don't really have to pay. Right. Because I didn't put a little here, put a little there, put a little here, and saved a couple dollars because I know some people. But that's good sense. Right on. You can't teach people every little thing about life. Some things they just have to know, or some things they just have to have the feel for. Or like when you have a vehicle and you buy it and you realize that there's things wrong with it, you don't have to buy every single part all at once. You could buy the parts one at a time over the course of the period of 3 or 4 paychecks or 10 of them. However long you think the vehicle has until it starts to really become a problem. But you have to make that conscious decision yourself. If you don't have a vehicle, and you're working somewhere and you have to walk or you're riding a bike or you catch a bus, or you got a moped or you have or you carpool, however it is that you get to work. See, I notice I'm not talking about niggas who stand in the corner all day or sit in their house waiting for somebody to call them so they can get in their car and go drive some dope to them, right? Or get out there on the block and wait for niggas to pull up and be like, "What you got?" None of that. Nope. I'm talking about people who have the good sense to want to work a job and not try to play both roles where I'm working at Kmart and I'm slinging dope on the side. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. Trust me, it's not going to work. Because the one time that you have an issue with somebody on them streets, you think they give a fuck that you work at Kmart, especially if they know you and they know where to pull up on you at what time? Right. This is how people be getting killed in the middle of the day or getting shot up in these stores. This is what really be happening. Like people be dibbling and dabbling in different shit, and then it comes back. It comes all the way full blown square. Yeah, not a circle. They touched each point. They didn't go roundabout. They touched some points to get there. And this is the thing. Nobody's telling them this right here. And they don't even get to be told, like, yo, hey, if you get with the female who wants to spend money, you have to break up with her. If she can't be convinced otherwise, you got to leave her. She's not worth the time, the struggle, or the problems. Because if you are a college student right now and you owe $30,000 in debt, you should be looking at that like that's nothing. I'm going to make way more than that. Right. Over the next 3 or 4 years, I could pay that off. If I just have a, a peaceable living situation. Right. We're talking minimum wage in most states. You could do that. People are like, how? If you're making $8 an hour, let's do the math real quick. Let's say you make 8.50 an hour, right? And you work 40 hours a week. Okay. So we're talking 50 cent to that is 60. 320. So we're talking 340. So we're talking 680 every 2 weeks after taxes, right around 600, right? So even if this person was paying rent to his parents or to a roommate, because in a state like that, the rent is only going to be so high. So even if you have to piece out $200 of each check to your rent prematurely, so that way you can get ahead of it, and then you pay yourself $50, and then you're paying your student loans $100 every single check, even if you don't spend it right then and there, that's $200 every paycheck. Okay. Well, listen. Now, how you would get into $30,000 of debt living in a state like that, I don't know. So I would be assuming that you're making like closer to 13, 14, 15 an hour. And this is when you got to be smart with the money. Right. Because now you're making $14 an hour at 40 hours a week. Okay. 140, 140, 280, 560. So that's 560 a week. So that's 1120 every 2 weeks. You see what I'm saying? Now the math changes. And if you're only paying so much for the rent, you can't run around here making a bunch of babies that you can't afford to pay for. Right on? You can't run around here paying for clothes and buying things that you can't afford to upkeep if this is how you really want to live. I don't care what somebody told you. I'm telling you the truth. Okay? They haven't told you one modicum, iota, or scintilla of information that is likened to this. Trust me, because they don't care about you. They want to tell you about high value men and alphas and omegas and Charlies and Bravos. Okay? I'm telling you about, nigga, if you make so much money per hour and you work so many hours per week, you need to live within that situation. Okay? Live like a nigga who ain't got nothing. If I don't make no money, okay, and all of a sudden I got all this money, What do I do with it? I got to be responsible, number one. And this is for all my brothers who are calling themselves wanting to be entrepreneurs on the side of working at a job. You need to tell these businesses that I'm looking to make myself into a legitimate business one day. Right on? So that way they can either shoo you out the way or help you on the way up. But you don't want to keep that to yourself and then at the least opportune time, something like that come back on you. I'll give you a prime example. If you work somewhere and you didn't realize you signed a non-disclosure agreement, they told you this, but you've been there for years, and now years later, you're working, right on, and you're doing your thing, and then you start to realize, oh, shoot, I signed a non-disclosure agreement. I'm using some of the skills they taught me. Let me go back and check the NDA to make sure that what I'm using is not part of their structure. Does that make sense? Because if I do this, I'm cooked. They could sue me, even though I was already going to do something likened to this. I signed the NDA, non-disclosure agreement, but now I'm doing my own business. It's almost as if I broke that contract. This is why people aren't supposed to sign contracts. This is why they're not meant to confirm their own goodwill. We're all starting to see why this is what it is. But follow me. When you have a situation like that, and a person, I'll give you guys a prime example. Red Robin has a bunch of recipes that are exclusive to their restaurants. If let's say somebody from Red Robin came to your restaurant, tasted something, it was like, damn, that tastes just like our shit. They could send their rep over and to have them to test that exact thing. And if you're using the same exact ingredients to the same exact proportion that they are, they can sue you. Did you know that? Especially if you worked at Red Robin. Yep, you sign NDAs when you work at Red Robin. I bet most people didn't know that. I bet most people didn't know that. A bunch of restaurants will make you sign NDAs. This is why I be laughing when people be talking about them. Right on, it's like, man, that ain't nothing. Well, to me, because I'm like, I've been signing them for forever. That ain't nothing. I just can't tell all the trade secrets. Big deal. Who cares? But I'm telling y'all what it is right now. A lot of dudes just won't break it down base level style like that. They can't. They don't know how to. So, your girl like to spend a bunch of money, gotta leave her. Cut ties. You're better off paying the money that you listen. This is deep now. This is deep now. Listen to this. The money you're going to save paying for your own rent if you don't have a woman who understands the concept of saving hours so we can have it later, you will be in a situation where you're like, damn, we ain't got no money because she want to go out all the time. She want to eat out all the time. She got a bunch of broke ass girlfriends or a bunch of broke ass girlfriends with broke ass boyfriends who ain't got shit, right? And they cool, but nigga, they ain't that cool to where I got to spend my money all the time. So, right, right. If you don't have a woman who understands, hey, look, we don't go out and do all that dumb shit. This is why, when I go through the little situations that I be going through with females, I just be laughing. I'll be like, yep, she ready to spend somebody's money up. Skirt. Okay. Get the Heisman. They get the Heisman on everything. They get the Heisman. We don't play that game. You don't get to spend my bread. Fuck that. I'll spend it. If I want to spend it and fuck my money up, I'ma fuck my money up. But you don't get to fuck my money up. You see what I'm saying? If you got broke ass homeboys, it's the same thing. Right on? You gotta cut ties with niggas who don't want to do nothing. You can help them out from time to time, but as far as y'all kicking it and hanging out and smoking blunts and drinking, it can never be like that no more. Let them go do that with other broke ass niggas. Give them the money to splurge around other broke ass niggas. You don't go splurge around broke ass niggas because you know they all broke and they looking at you like he's a potential motherfucking lick, nigga. No, hell no. You're not about to get me like that. So what I'll do is I'll bless you with a nice little bit. Then you get to go around these other broke ass niggas who ain't got nothing, and then you get to act like you got it like that for a few days. We'll do that. Then you'll come back in a few weeks or a month or 2 months or a year or whatever the fuck, how long it takes. And then we'll do the same shit again and we'll run it about. That's what you do. You don't play yourself sideways. Can you figure deal me? All right. When you got homeboys who's out there on dope, like I'm about to do in a little bit, I'm about to go call one of my boys and see if he's okay. And, I hope he's all right. But I can't send him money all the time. You feel me? Because, nigga, you don't even want to check in. You got a number that works and you won't even answer it. I love you, but come on, man. And I ain't even talking about my biological blood brother because, if I call him for real, he'll get back to me eventually, even if he be bullshit. But, so it's like, I just be laughing. You got to take care of these people, but you got to, at the same time, no, I'm cool. That's your boy. He's not a female. You don't have no intimate relationship with this dude, so it doesn't matter. Like, nigga, if something bad happens to you, I'm going to mourn for you, of course. Just like I want you to mourn for me if something bad happened to me. But at the same time, bro, I'm not going to be responsible for your ultimate demise or your ultimate success. You're not going to ride my coattail, right on? And I'm not going to ride yours. We're grown, nigga. I heard 50 Cent say something very interesting about Tony Yayo and Lloyd Banks talking about my back hurt from carrying them. Right. No shit it does. He's saying, man, I could have did some other extra things, but I've been looking out for these two grown-ass niggas who want to live a certain way and want to do shit a certain way, and they ain't gonna have less than a certain thing. So even these niggas is on an allowance, and these is my boys, and they'll take what I'm gonna give them because they understand, man, this is better than nothing. Right. But understand, I get it. I can feel where he's coming from. People always be needing and wanting stuff, but they don't want to do nothing for it no more, or they feel like they're not in a position to. You got to make the right decisions financially, fiscally. If you make $34,000 a year and you couldn't spend on yourself, listen, I need you to understand. If you couldn't save multiple times that year, five, six, $7,000, unless you have 8 children, something wrong. Something wrong. Talking about several times you should have been able to save that, because with five, six, seven, 8 children, and you making 30 grand, you could still nest egg a couple grand every year, even with all that. Even with the because you're gonna have to you're gonna have to go through the hand-me-down scenario. You're gonna have to go through the taking the familial support scenario. You're gonna have to swallow the pride scenario if you got a lot of pride that you operate with or operate in. All those types of things. See, once again, I'm giving them game right now, man. Word. Talking about how do I swallow my pride? It's easy or it's simple. Sometimes it's as easy as not putting yourself in the situations that you would normally be in. Sometimes it's as simple as not allowing your mind to get to that spot. Either one of those is either complex on the other side or hard on the other side. You choose the scenario you're best suited to deal with, the complex things or the hard things. But if you confuse yourself between the two, that's on you. I'm trying to tell the people what the real truth is right now, because, I feel like when I listen to these guys, I don't get a modicum, an iota, or a scintilla of nothings from them sometimes. I just be like, damn, did I just waste a whole 2 hours listening to a nigga babble on about another person and couldn't tell me shit? Tell me something, man. Like I'm saying right now, when you go down to the tax and license people, right on, whatever, in most places it's going to be associated with courthouses somewhere around, regular other types of businesses, commerce type of streets, whatever kind of street. There's going to be a street that dignifies itself as we are who you need to come see for this business license, and it's typically tax and licensing. So you need to go to that building, and then you need to research before you go to the building. You need to research and say, okay, I want this kind of business. Who do I need to talk to outside of tax and licensing to make sure that my business can take place? Sometimes you need the permission of other businesses that are going to be in the adjacent areas, right? That could potentially be impacted by your presence, or you may need to get a certain permit to build a semi-permanent structure to accommodate for your business. These are all things that people who've done it before understand. Now, having said that, let's say, for example, that you want to get a business in a particular place and they're saying, no, we won't let you drill right here. No, we won't let you break the concrete. And no, we're not going to break it for you no matter how much money you got. The city just won't do it. We're not going to accommodate for you like that. Okay, so this means that you have to find another way to make a semi-permanent structure without it being permanent on the street. I know that sounds deep, but sometimes that's as simple as getting a cinder block that weighs a certain amount, or getting a bucket with concrete in it or rocks in it or whatever, right? Right? Something that is not easily removed, semi-permanent, but if I left it here, it shouldn't be, unless someone does something nefarious, it shouldn't be messed with. Right. These are little things, you know what I mean, that people don't know. How to deal with the fire department, how to deal with the health department, how to deal with who else is there? People that come in and who do the code inspections, right on? Because it's not just the fire department, it's another entity that checks for the codes, that makes sure that all your codes are right. Building code, you know what I'm saying? Those type of people, right? Boom. You got to know what you need to know before you get to that point. And then this is why I don't tell people to work together, but they should work together. Because check this out. If I got an idea and you got an idea that are totally bipolar opposite, but they could feed off of each other, we should look to see how we make it happen. We'll figure out the money as the money comes. This is why not being greedy and always acting like you broke and always treating a situation like you ain't got nothing is the best way to go about it. Because if you got two guys who are both acting like they broke, neither one of them trying to play in their ego, now we can really get paid. Okay, bro, your business brings in the most money, but mine brings the most people, and your business flourishes because I bring in the most people. So we can see it both ways. Or maybe your business is just better than mine's, but people like it, but people like the business that I have because it makes them feel extremely comfortable. How much is that worth? Right on? Or maybe the business I have is worthless and I'm gonna invest into your venture because you're a righteous brother and you ain't gonna shut me out, or you gonna invest into me into another venture that's more lucrative. We're gonna figure this out, but we're not gonna leave each other in the fucking pouring rain talking about, oh nigga, you on your own. You see what I'm saying? That's the kind of shit I'm talking about. And you got a bunch of black people out here, man, who really black, Afro, whatever, Negro, indigenous, Afro, indigenous, Aboriginal. I don't give a damn how they identify. Egyptian, Nubian, black, German, whatever. I don't care. I really don't. Because they go out here and they do things that go against basic goodness. You don't treat your brothers and sisters that way, man. You just don't. But these guys don't have a problem doing that because guess what? Ain't nobody ever did right by them. So they figure, why do I have to do right by anybody else? That's fucking weak, though. And we all know that's a weak ass way to be about it. Yet, this is how it typically goes. Some dude wants to get with the other dude's chick or has already been with her before in the past, or this nigga is raising so many children that are not his own children, and he is tired of the situation. I mean, the list of the foolery and debauchery goes on. Once again, brothers and sisters, self-indulgence and overindulgence, especially, is not love, and they definitely cannot be self-love. So, because if I love myself, I'm not going to ruin my finances trying to have a good time. There's more to life than just one moment. But people become, see, that's a real prisoner of the moment. A nigga who will fuck off all his money and be broke and fucked up the rest of his life because of one day. And he'll keep reliving that one day until he's old and crusty, dusty, and just about done. But nigga, that one day cost you everything. Right on? You better live in the soon to be. Check this out. I knew a guy, rest in peace. He made $50,000 in one day, right? 1 hour to be exact. He said he called his man. He said, I'm shutting it down for the day, man. He said, I'm scared to death. He said, something ain't right. He said, man, he said, I don't know how much money I could have made that day. He said, I probably could have made a couple 100,000. Right? You see what I'm saying? One day. The man made 50 grand. Think about that. 50 grand in one day, and then 1 hour hit him. Now his life was cool for a while, but when the things began to tumble down upon him, he told me in confidence, he said, man, he said, I wish I had just went to see how hard I could have gone. He said, because he said, man, he said, maybe I could have made $250,000 that day, maybe even $500,000. This is this is the craziness that people don't know that was going on. That's how much money there was back then in the 90s. It's a lot more money than people think floating around in those days. Right. I'm just being real with y'all, telling you the truth. That's not the way to move. He ain't here no more. It's not because of that. It's just because life has a way of taking a toll on you. But I'm telling y'all, man, straight up, this is real. This is real deal Holyfield to the game, man. Uh, When you start having money and start seeing it, you got to use the money the right ways. You might invest in something that might not come back for 5 or 10 years, but it'll come back. You have to be willing to take those sort of risks and chances on another person when you know that this is the money that I saved that I can save every year. And I already put 5, 6, 7 years of it to the side, saved money. That's the problem with people. They're not saving their money enough. Like I said, you got to pay yourself. So that's the money that should really be being saved. The other money is your checking account. That's the money that is, I can willfully spend this if I like. I don't want to spend it. I want my checking to be fat, but I want my savings to be right too. You don't get to pay yourself interest in real life if you save your money and you don't have it all in the bank. But the thing is, if you only leave so much in the bank, if like I'm saying, if I'm gonna have a bank account, it's gonna be a savings account. I'm not telling y'all to do nothing that I'm doing or that I've done before. I've had checkings and savings. I know the difference, and I'm telling you, if I'm gonna have one, I'm gonna have a savings account that I never touch. The money is not to be played with, toyed with, messed with for any reason or circumstance. Right? That's the kind of money that if you ever do play with it or have to come to touching it, it's for real deal to the nitty grit. Back to my brothers who feel like, man, I will meet. When's the last time you made less than 10,000 a year? Been a long time, brothers. But look, uh, if you guys is clearing less than 10 a year, and see, and I gotta talk about this, see, right? Because a lot of people won't touch on it. Oh, they want to shit on these brothers and these sisters who ain't making that much money and they barely scraping by, or they in a situation where, that little bit of money is just enough. Let me just tell y'all something. That 10,000, that fucking nigga, they could have made 7 grand this year. Listen, that 7 grand they made this year is better than the no thousand that another nigga saw. Can you hear me? Where some of these dudes survive on, EBT, and that's all they got. They don't even really sell it like that. They might sell $10, $20 worth of the EBT so they can go buy some cigarettes and beer, right? And and that beer and that cigarettes is gonna last a long time. Right on? They don't come out like that. They don't kick it with everybody like that. Right. There's a bunch of them brothers and sisters. And and when they do hang out, they're sociable, but what they have is for them, right? They don't got it like that. Dudes who's out here selling dope to people, you know, some of them feel good because they're like, shit, nigga, I ain't even selling no motherfucking work to no niggas. Nigga, all the shit I sell is to white folks and Mexicans and Asians. Nigga, I don't even fuck with you niggas. I don't even have to sell y'all nothing. I'm making real money. For all y'all out there, shame on you for not having community gardens everywhere. Shame on you for going to the strip club and paying for this chick's BBL. Shame on you for sending your son's mother, your daughter's mother, on the walks of shame of all the different men that she's had to be with since she was with you. Shame on you. Right on? Because the pride in you was so strong and so powerful, and it overwhelmed the greatest parts of your senses. And now, because these people don't want to deal with you, you're doing your best to do right by others, and then these people will backbite you and betray you. Shame on you. For all you niggas out there, listen, community gardens are always the way to go. You can do no greater thing than to make somebody a meal, y'all. They need to start growing wheat. 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 They need to start threshing their own wheat, their own barley, and their own oats. They need to start doing this. They have the money to do it. Tell your fucking thought leaders to do it. Since these niggas is so smart, huh? Tell them to do it. Tell them to say, hey, you know what? We're going to go buy up a plot of these burnt down, fucked up, shot up houses that they find dead bodies in all the time. We're going to rip this shit up. And these niggas who's killing niggas out here are the niggas that we want to protect it. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm going to flip the script in this bitch. I'm going to give you something to protect, nigga. I'm going to give you a reason to kill. Don't you let nobody walk through this field. Nobody. Right. And we going to pay you for it. Dope dealers is stupid. Got these niggas out here killing for fucking might as well be processed food, nigga. As opposed to you're not even growing your own coca plants. You don't even have your own greenhouses or nothing to do to grow your own opium. You niggas ain't doing shit. And killing people over the processed, stepped on version of it. Crazy. And I'm not telling you to go out there and make your own shit like that, but I'm just like, bruh, sis, what the fuck is going on? Where are the community kitchens where thousands of dollars of EBT are spent? There's either grandma or granddaddy or grandmas and granddaddies, everybody who stays within a certain vicinity. We went, we got a generator, or we got whatever we needed to accommodate for the extra electricity, and we got several deep freezers. And these people, all they do all day, because they retired, but they want to be involved in the community, all they do all day is cook. That's it. You can come get a meal at almost all times of the day. Where is that at? People are like, why don't you do it? I'm like, nigga, because I'm busy trying to keep other people alive and trying to fight the war on poverty out here. One soul at a time, one spirit at a time. It's not easy. It's a simple battle, but it's a hard struggle. Because I got to balance between paying myself, making sure that I'm being altruistic, making sure that I'm being simplistic and actualistic, and then also being realistic with myself and saying that, yo, you can only do so much. You need to enjoy you like everyone else has got to enjoy you. Right. As I get ready to go next week, next Friday, literally a week from now, early in the morning, you gotta get up, go, and make it happen. And explain to these people why what is what and why what isn't not. You get what I'm saying? And then we can go from there. But I can't let these people just walk all over me just because they're supposed to be some sort of authoritative entity. That's not how it works. Right is right and wrong is wrong. These are the rules. And they want to tell you it's something different. I'm telling you, those are the rules. Right is right, wrong is wrong. The day is coming, y'all. The day is coming. Where your ability to understand what's here in front of you, that's what's happening. Yep. They don't have community kitchens in none of these places to keep people from starving. Everybody got to make a bunch of money. When, baby girl, you getting $1,000 in stamps every month. All we want you to do is to spend $100 in ground beef. And all the other females and all the other grown ass men who were getting this kind of stuff to pitch in so that way we can get all the things that these people are eating right now. We're gonna try to keep it clean, but we know that people want what they want, and we're gonna wean them off the bullshit. But we're gonna really keep it real with them. But nobody does that. And the same people who were suffering will say that I'm suffering. No doubt you're suffering. You've placed all your agency out of your own hands. Yeah, every bit of it. The only form of agency they want is to be able to drive a car. Tell me I'm lying. Somebody tell me I'm lying. The only bit of agency they desire is to be able to drive a vehicle. That's pathetic. And it's shameful on so many different levels. It's pathetic and it's shameful. The greatest thing that I've ever seen people do in my life, and the worst thing I've ever seen people do in my life, is realize that they have an ability to do something and do something else with it. Mm. These are the greatest things, right? I have the ability to do wrong, but I'm going to do right. I have the ability to do right, but I'm going to do wrong. It's deep. I'm telling you, the greatest superpower that you have, right on, is self-control. I, I will forever preach that to the people. It may be the only real superpower you truly have, but it's an epic superpower. Even animals practice self-control. When you talk all this nonsense about them, about how they can't think and la di da. No, your body is built to have access to things that they wouldn't normally have access to with greater ease. You're meant to feed them. It's your job. It's mankind's job to look out for all the other animals because you have natural dominion over them. This was given to you. You have natural dominion over the earth. This was given to you. Right. Even if your bloodline is not Adam man directly, you're here now. So some part about you must understand the true things that were taught to the true men of the earth. Even if even if you come from the first bloodline where you have true dominion over all the earth and over all things on the earth. Right. True dominion, not fake dominion. Because true dominion would be doing what I'm saying, which is to make sure that all the animals are fed and taken care of. But the fact that their eyes are not on the sparrow, I know for a fact that they're not real men. Not the kind of men that would have been here before. Right. It it was people's jobs to do certain things. They've abandoned their whole post. And some will say rightfully so. I will say wrongfully so. I would say, what a shame. Some people are here now to have a good time and say, "Oh, oh, Merry Christmas to you." And it's like, well, I don't know what's so merry about it. I don't know what's so happy to be about it. Because not one thing that these people have said has moved us closer to getting what we should get, which is out of this land and away from all these things that bring us closer to our own death and destruction. There is no greater day coming in Babylon. There is not. I'm just trying to give you things to think about. It's not my fault that somebody didn't teach them what an oil filter was and that there's sockets that go on to different sizes of oil filters. Right on. I can't help that. I can't help that they built vehicles that uh, are proprietary to needing specific tools that only certain places have that are designated to these places. You can't help that. You know, you have to figure out: do you want to have agency or not? So, are you going to let them talk you into buying something that you really don't need just because they say you need it, or are you going to do the right thing and be smart? Thank you. See what I'm saying? It's like that. It is like that, brothers and sisters. As I said, these guys ain't gonna go to the tax and licensing places. They're not going to get the paperwork that they need to make sure that everything that they need is right. They're not going to um, get licensed, bonded, or insured, right? In totality. So they won't have the business. They'll claim that they're being gentrified out of these places. The people that do have the money won't give the money to the people that have ideas for legitimate businesses because they want these people to come and work for them for peanuts. Right. Because they feel like they took the chance already for the money. But really, all you did was poison your own people. You poisoned the fucking well. And now you want to be rewarded for that. As opposed to you get what you get. Right. Just like you treated these niggas who was buying dope from you. You get what you get, nigga. You bitch ass nigga. You get what you get too then. Right. Poison the well by pimping out people's daughters. Murdering people's sons. Murdering their daughters too and their babies. Murdering the old. Making excuses for themselves while they did it. I don't hide my face. I have nothing to hide from you. No thing. I have no thing to hide from you. If I was a half breed, I'd still be out here. If I was a quarter breed and I thought the same, I wouldn't say everything if I look like a quarter breed, because you know some of the shit I'm saying is incendiary. But yeah, I would I would stand by that. Stand by that. My people's. I wouldn't care. But these guys are so derelict that they don't even realize like you had a golden opportunity. Same people that became drug dealers could have became actual politicians. That's the coldest part about it. And the same ability that they had to finagle resources from their own people, they could have finagled from the government as a whole to give to their people. They didn't do that. Many of them were led astray. And like I said, the ghouls and the goblins should be kept in check. But if you've put the regular old people with the ghouls and the goblins, and you can't you can't differentiate and you can't discern the difference, that's obviously a problematic issue. Has to be. Look, before I get up out of here, and I will be up out of here real soon, I have to say this. My biggest problem is not the fact that they've given not one modicum, iota, or scintilla to the people. My biggest issue is the fact is that they act like they have. Right. Right. That's my issue. If the money you give doesn't dent your actual wealth, I mean, put a dent in it. Like you spent 80% of your wealth to do this. So people knew like this guy only kept so much. And the little bit that he kept was so that way his family wouldn't be broke when he died for a couple generations. Because people can always fuck money up. Right. The bookie can fuck the money up. What you gonna do then? Huh? The places you got the money at, they fuck up the money. What are you gonna do? Huh? Sue them? They're the ones with the money. That's why I be like, these niggas are ridiculous. They don't know shit. And they mentally ill. because they don't think about nothing. 6 day slave, baby. For 6 days, I slave right up here. And then one day I take off. I take no days off thinking about the Most High God, but I take days off thinking about the struggle that it is that the people fight. So that way I can get my mind clear from all the nonsense. But the day is coming when people have to realize that the, the one form of ultimate true agency that you have to practice is for you to practice. Hmm. Once again, they won't tell you these little small things. I can't break off all the way into it. Why break off into what kind of businesses you can start if you don't know where to start? I told you where to start. I told you how you have to save your money, or I just gave you a different scenario, but I told you that you have to save it. There's no doubt. You can't spend it all on every little thing, especially things that don't have any sort of potential return. Buying out fast food has no potential return. Okay. But going to a hardware store and buying tools from there has a potential return when you show up and you say, hey, I'm Joe Snuffy. I've been buying tools from here all year and I wanted to buy this. I'm this much money short. What can we do about it? Or is there nothing that we can do? And they might say, hey, you know what, Joe Snuffy? You've been real supportive. Can't say you've been consistent with your shopping, but the items that you bought have been very high priced or very high quality items, and we appreciate your reviews on Google or whatever, and the fact that you give us patronage. We're going to work with you, right? These guys would never know because they've never been in that kind of position. How's somebody who never done something going to tell you that? Right. I know what billions of dollars worth of gear looks like. Do they? I mean, no, like really, like, do they know what billions of dollars worth of gear looks like? Do they know? Have they ever been around that sort of situation and acknowledged it? The shit is billions of dollars. Have they ever been around millions of dollars worth of gear, hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands of dollars worth of gear? Right on. Do they actually know what it looks like? I've seen it. Once again, like other people haven't seen, I've seen it. I've been in massive warehouses where they're housing so much gear for so many tens of thousands of Marines. And out here are so many weapon systems and so many rounds of ammunition and so much this and so much that and so much food and just the people in general what their lives are worth because the training is put into them. Talking about I've been around billions and trillions of dollars worth of shit. I've seen it. I know what it looks like. Other people wouldn't have any idea. They would have no clue because they're mentally ill or they're just deficient or they're wickedly evil. Whichever one doesn't really matter. They're no different than uh, swine skin racist who claim that I never owned any slaves. Let me go ahead and tell y'all something real quick. I've never owned one either. Right. Not in the sense or in the fashion or in the true practice. Not one iota. Okay. Not one modicum. Not one centilla. Not one scintilla. Not one iota. Not one modicum. Not one modicum. Not one scintilla. Not one iota. Not one modicum of precious life. Not one iota of a soul. Not one scintilla of pennyworth of blood have I ever owned of another person. I don't know where these excuses come from. I don't make them up. These are things that you've obviously probably heard people say. And they say them, I never did this. Bitch, neither did I. Neither did I. But I'll tell you something though. They'll never tell you anything that's worth what I just told y'all. It's too scary for them. If you're able to practice your own agency and you're able to have your own things and you're able to see that God has blessed you and he's also brought you low, it would give you reason to want to cry out to him. But if you have no real reason to reach out to the Most High God because you feel like these guys are leaders, but tell me what? Where can they succeed where others have failed, who were far greater than they? Huh? Tell me. Tell me, where can they succeed where others were far greater than they? Can anyone tell me? Yeah, that's what I thought. Not one modicum, not one iota, not one scintilla can they give you to understand what is truly being said to you right now. They're going to lie. They're going to continue to lie to you. But I want tomorrow to be better than today, and for your next week to be better than your last. May you continue, brothers and sisters, to realize that they've given you nothing. Therefore, they are owed nothing. They are not owed your support, and they don't need your support because they breathe on their own. How does that sound?